Hey everybody, welcome to another This Is 50 video. Happy to be with you again and share some of my deep and profound and soul-moving thoughts with you. How's that? I was thinking today about one of my favorite movies. It's a movie called The Truman Show. You might be familiar with it. Jim Carrey is the star. And in this movie, from the time of his birth, all the way up through his childhood, his teenage years, and on into his adult life, Truman is living out this life in this town. And it's a very scripted life. He goes through the exact same routine every day. And what he notices, from day to day, and what you notice as you're watching the movie, is that everybody around him also goes through the exact same routine every single day. And there comes a point in Truman's life where he begins to feel like something isn't quite right. And he begins to see things that make him realize that maybe reality isn't what it appears to be. And as the movie progresses, what we learn is that Truman is the star of a reality show. And he was chosen from birth as a baby to be the lead character in this reality show. And the whole show is just about following Truman in his life and watching what he does, from simple things like brushing his teeth, to going to work, to greeting his neighbors, reading the newspaper, falling in love. All of it is being broadcast around the world in this reality show. But as we get to know Truman, we discover that he has kind of a restless heart. He has these grand dreams of traveling to Fiji and seeing different parts of the world and exploring and having all of these adventures and doing all of these things. But the creators of the show, they can't let him do this because he's in this enclosed universe with cameras in all of these locations, and all of the people in the town, all of the people... I'm getting wet. Yeah, I'm getting wet. And all of the people in the town, they're all actors, and they're all just playing this part in his life. And as he starts to realize this rebellion begins to rise up in him, and he tries to think about ways to break free, to get out of this reality that suddenly doesn't seem like reality to him at all. Well, there were some things that were programmed into him from an early age. They were scripted into the show that kept him locked in this prison. Fears of like the water. Part of one of the scenes that was scripted into the show is that he and his father are out on a boat and a storm comes and his father drowns. And it's all just part of the story. It's all fiction played by characters, but it programs him in a certain way to where he's now afraid of water. And the only way out of this town that he lives in is to go across water, either on a bridge or on a boat. So as time progresses, Truman gets, there's more and more angst and dissatisfaction, and it even turns into anger, and it becomes this mission in him to escape this reality that has been created for him that is no longer the reality that he wants to live in or be a part of. So what he does is he gets on a boat. He decides he's going to overcome his fear. And in his mind, what he believes is if he can just get in this boat, and if he can just sail across the water, he'll escape, and he'll be able to, be a part of a different reality. So he's out on the water. The creators of the show, the people manipulating the events in the show, they whip up a storm. He almost drowns, but he survives. And finally, he's sailing across the water, beginning to feel this peace and this relief that maybe he's finally escaped this prison, and he's overwhelmed by the beauty of the sea around him and everything that lays ahead of him. And then all of a sudden, the boat slams into a wall and comes to a full stop. And the wall is part of the set. He's been living in this enclosed world, and the boat plunges into the wall, and he stops. And it's at that point that he realizes everything has been made up. None of it is real. And for a moment, he starts pounding on the wall and pounding on the wall and pounding on the wall, and he's upset and he's angry and he's crying, because just as he thought he was about to make his escape and experience the life that he had dreamed of, he hits a wall and can go no further. Until he looks up and he sees a set of stairs on the wall that leads to a door that will take him outside of the set into the real world for the first time in his life. I love this show, I love this story, I love this plot, because you know what, I think all of us to some extent are living in a reality that has been created for us by other people. A reality that has been created for us by circumstances. And often we view these circumstances and this reality as obstacles that we cannot overcome. We're trapped. We're stuck. A few years ago I wrote an article, and again this one's online somewhere. It's called Obstacle Illusion. Kind of a play on the phrase optical illusion. It's obstacle illusion, where I talk about the obstacles in our life and how it is an illusion to us that these obstacles have to stop us. They appear like they have to stop us, but that's the illusion. You see, obstacles aren't there to keep us from experiencing the life that we want to live. Instead, I believe obstacles are there for two reasons. The first reason that obstacles are in our life is to redirect us to a better way. You know, I don't think anything in life, I've come to a point where I don't believe anything in life is an accident anymore. I think that there's no such thing as coincidence. There's no such thing as accident. I believe that our lives with one another, with the universe, with the world, with everything around us is so deeply intertwined that I believe obstacles appear in our life for a couple of reasons, and that first one is to redirect us. We're going down the wrong road. So an obstacle appears, and it's not meant to make us just stop in our tracks. It's meant to make us look for another way around, or another path to follow. The second reason why I think an obstacle may appear in our life is to give us the opportunity to overcome it, to push ourselves harder than we'd ever pushed ourselves before, and overcome that obstacle. And in the overcoming, we discover things about ourselves that we would have never discovered before. We discover a new life, a new way of life, a new outlook on life, a new freedom in life. So that's kind of where I am at this point in my life, going through a lot of changes in the way I think about things, the way I approach things, and the way I am planning my life forward. And one of the biggest lessons for me has been to learn how to identify what seem to be obstacles and then navigate those obstacles in a way that will bring me to the life that I'm really wanting to live and unlock in me parts of me that I didn't know were there. There you have it. My thoughts for the day. Have a great one. See you next time. Peace. Love you.